That sounds kind of cool, right? Bending is not my thing yet. Hey friends, what's going on there tonight? So a little practice log entry today where I'm going to be working on the minor blues scale in the key of A minor, and I'm going to be practicing basically soloing, doing some just improv lead licks and riffs and fills as I play over a backing track, okay? So I'm going to be using the St James Infirmary Blues backing track, and I actually made this as a video. You can find it in the link in the description of this video. It's basically 7 minutes of this 8-bar progression going over and over and over again. I also have a lesson for this exact thing, so if you want to learn this song and you want to be able to combine some strumming with some lead fills and licks, check out that lesson. The link is in there as well, right? But again, in this video, I want to go a little bit further. I showed you 4 licks you can do in that lesson, but I want to just let myself off the leash here and sort of just play around in the A minor scale. And you know, I'm filing this under like a practice log entry instead of a true lesson, in the sense that I'm sort of learning in public here, right? I have never historically been one who's comfortable with lead licks and fills and riffs and all that stuff, so I want to learn. I love the sound of the blues, and this is a great blues progression. I'm going to be using the A minor blues scale. Okay, so I'll be sharing some just nuggets and insights I'm picking up along the way over the next few minutes, and if you liked what you saw in the first few seconds of this video, keep on watching, because I think hopefully this will be helpful for you. So a couple things before we dive in. PlaySongNotes.com is the website, so you can find the lesson there, you can find the backing track there, it's all available there. And I also am going to be using this sort of map of the fretboard. So I built this tool, this web tool called FretMonster. It looks like this, if you can see it, and it's basically an interactive fretboard. You can pick whatever scale you want, and you can pick whatever key you want, and basically it'll show you the notes in that scale. So I have an A minor blues scale here. Now, before I dive in, the last thing I'll say is a quick crash course in how to read this thing. So basically, you look at this map, and it's basically taking your guitar here and putting it on the side, right? So from bottom to top, we have the thickest string on the bottom and the thinnest string on the top. Okay? Now, these numbers along the bottom represent the frets, right? And it's important you know that the left line here is basically the this part of your guitar right here. So if you're playing a note that's to the left of that, it's basically the same as playing an open string. So the 2 positions I'll be playing this A minor scale in are down here in like the open position. So basically from thickest to thinnest string, it would be open to 3rd fret, okay? Open to 3rd fret, open 1st, 2nd on the 4th string, open to 2nd on the 3rd string, 1st of 3rd on the 2nd string, and open to 3rd on the thinnest string, right? So this is the A minor blues scale. Okay, so that's one position. The other position I'll be in quite a bit is this 5th and 7th and 8th fret one, right? Okay, now I'm not going to be practicing the scale over and over again, but those are the notes I'm going to be using, okay? And I actually, I think in my past, I always approached learning lead guitars like I must learn the scale. I must learn the scale and get really good at the scale. In the last couple months, I've just been forgetting that. And I understand that, like, here's the scale you should be using, but don't feel like you're just practicing the scale. Really just put on a backing track or something and then start picking out notes from this scale. And the cool thing about this tool, FretMonster, is it basically shows you the root notes, right? So in the key of A minor, the root notes are going to be, the open 5th string, right? 5th fret on the 6th string. And these are designated by the orange 1 on your little chart here, right? This represents the sort of the 1st degree of the scale, right? This is another one, the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then the 5th fret of the high E string. So these are our A notes, and a lot of the times in this progression, we're going to be basically on an A minor scale, or A minor chord that is. So you want to basically, that's like a home base, it's always going to sound good. So I'm going to put this backing track on and sort of just hang out a little bit in different parts of these scales, and I'll sort of talk through things and give you an idea. Okay, so with that said, let's pull up this backing track and get on into it, right? So it counts in 8 counts. 3, 4, so I'm not going to do the chords. it's my habit, right? Okay, so what I did right there was basically, to pause this real quick, I kind of find myself actually gravitating towards this 10th fret on the 2nd string. This is actually an A note as well, as you see by the chart here. And I was doing this sort of 4-note little pattern here, basically going from the flat 7th up to the root, the 1st, and then the flat 3rd to the 4th, right? So this is basically 8, 10, 8, 10 on the thinnest 2 strings. And this is the note. This A, this is an A note. This is kind of going to be your home base. So let me go back to this progression. I'm just going to hang out in this little 4 chord little micro box up here, right? And I'll show you with just these 4 notes, you can have a lot of fun with this progression. So let me put this on for you. I'm going to start it over because I want it basically to be fresh, right? So 8 counts. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'll stop there for that little section. But that was just two times through the progression. I'm just having fun with these 4 notes, right? So I recommend if you're gonna play around up here, basically I recommend just putting your index finger in the 8th fret, 1st and 2nd string. Keep it there. It's like you're barring it. And again, this is your ring finger is doing the rest of the work there. So that's, again, I didn't plan to start there. That's kind of where I just ended up going, right? So let's move back down the fretboard now, and let's go to the open position. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm basically gonna be hanging out, I find that I like to hang out on this 2nd fret of the 3rd string, okay? And the cool thing is if you take that's in the A minor chord, right? But if you basically take your finger off, so basically that little 4-note sequence, it's actually the same 4 tones, same 4 degrees of the scale I was just on, right? The root, the flat 7th, which is the open 3rd string, right? So flat 7th to the root. And then on the 2nd string, I'm going from 1st to 3rd fret. And that's going from the flat 3rd to the 4th. So this time, I'm gonna put the jamming track back on and basically do the same thing. With just those 4 notes, I'm going to play around and just improvise and see what comes out of me, all right? Let me start the backing track over, all right? So 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there we have it, right? Now let me extend it a little bit. Maybe let me go up to the thinnest string. So I made a mistake there, right? I basically played the open 2nd string. And if you do that, it's okay. If you're playing a note that's not in the scale you're practicing, go with it. You don't have to stop. You can kind of, I'm not saying keep playing that note, but don't feel like you have to stop and start all over again. Just kind of get back to your groove. So again, what I did there was picked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes, okay? And I was just trying to stay within that 6-note box. Now, I think what you can do is basically, I like this idea of like taking the sort of the zone, the box you're playing in, and box might not be the right word, but basically taking the little home base of notes you have, you're comfortable with, and then maybe adding a few more in either direction. Maybe you could go up the fretboard or you can go down the fretboard. So I'm going to stay in the open position here, and I'm going to be basically looking at the bottom 5 or 6 notes of the A minor blues scale, right? The open 5th fret, 3rd fret on the 5th string, it's a flat 3rd, and then right here on this D string, the 4th string, right? Open to 1st to 2nd fret. So that's the 4th, the flat 5th, and the 5th, right? So, and then we can go back up to the octave on the G, right? The flat 7th is the open G string, and then 2nd fret of the G string is the root, right? So we have an octave here, right? So before I put the track on, I'm getting comfortable with that little zone. So I'm just going to play in that little zone for the next little sequence here. Okay, so that's all I'm going to be doing. And let's see how that sounds. And then maybe after a time or two going through the track, maybe I'll go back up to that top position and the thinnest 2 strings that I was doing in the previous playthrough there. All right, so there we go. I was kind of bringing in the low E string 3rd fret. It sounds good when you go to that root in the A, right? The open A. I'll say this too about when you're practicing playing in a blues scale, these blue notes, right? The flat 5th. From all the videos I've watched on YouTube of really cool blues teachers, they basically will say you don't want to spend too much time on those notes. So that blue note, the flat 5th, you want to kind of use it like in passing, but you don't want to overdo it, right? It's like a spice that you can easily do too much of. So I find that when I'm going to go from this 4th string from open to 1st to 2nd, I kind of want to emphasize, or not emphasize, but think of the open 4th string and the 2nd fret 4th string is really the main kind of like steps, and really this is just that 1st fret one is kind of a passing interchange step, right? Okay, so with that said, let me do one more little riffing thing here in the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th fret, right? This scale. I find myself really feeling comfortable in these middle 2 strings. Okay, that's getting back to the root, the flat 7th, the flat 3rd, and the 4th that I showed you before up here, right? Right, you can do it down here too. Right, and you can also do it here. So I'm going to kind of use that as my home base, and then maybe after a time or two going through the progression, I'll deviate. Maybe I'll go on the thicker strings, or I'll go up high a little bit. But let's see how that sounds, all right? And let's start this puppy. Starting it over, right? 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. right, let's go this. Rough rhythm. That sounds kind of cool, right? Bending is not my thing yet. So that was like an awkward arrival back at the A note, right? You'll kind of find when you do these jamming backing track things that sometimes certain notes in the scale won't sound great at certain parts of the progression, right? So it's about just listening and developing a bit of, an ear for that. I don't know how else to explain it, but I think the root note, that one note, the orange note, is always a good one to go back to. Let me do that a few more times. Right from the top. All right, so thanks you all for watching this far. I hope this is helpful for you. Okay, again, I sort of want, I by no means claim to be an expert in guitar, and I sort of want to share some of the just steps I'm taking to practice in different directions, whether it's Travis picking or this or that or whatever. And again, the blues, lead blues stuff sounds really cool, and I enjoy playing it. So this is just showing you what it's like, a bit of honest practice here. And I hope this is helpful for you. Again, everything you need for this is playsongnotes.com, right? You can find the lesson for St. James Infirmary. You can find the tool I'm using for the fretboard here. You can find the backing track. It's all there. So I hope you dig this lesson. Thanks to all of you who guys are supporting me through the tip jar, through Patreon. It really means a lot. And all the comments and emails you guys write. Again, I can't thank you enough. So this has been David Potts, but I'm going to leave now and take my dog for a walk. She's sitting here very patiently, and it's time for me to tend to her. So bye-bye, my friends. See you later.